Good morning and welcome to the Morning Outlook Report. I'm Rachel Jones reporting live from 𝐃𝐤𝐿 TV Sydney studios. The Australian share market is set to fall at the open this morning as iron prices continue to slump. The local market finished Friday's session in the red, with the ASX 200 closing down 0.76%. Friday's declines have weighed on the market's weekly performance. Before Friday, the ASX 200 was up 0.72%. But it fell into the red last week. The benchmark index ended 0.04% lower, its second consecutive weekly decline. Friday's losses, while across numerous sectors, were mainly felt among materials and energy. Resources were the hardest hit, with materials down sharply on commodity prices such as gold and iron ore dropping last week. Iron ore shed 6.1% and has now more than halved. It's down at 54% in value since its record highs in mid-May this year. US share markets also fell on Friday following the quarterly expiration of options and futures. The tech-heavy Nasdaq index slumped as rising US Treasury yields pressured growth stocks. Shares of Facebook, Alphabet, Apple and Microsoft all slipped, and shares of COVID-19 vaccine manufacturers Pfizer and Moderna also fell as US health officials moved the debate over booster doses to a panel of independent experts. US Steel Corp shares shed 8% after it unveiled a $3 billion mini mill investment plan. The Dow Jones index fell by 0.5%, the S&P 500 index lost 0.9%, and the Nasdaq index shed 0.9%. For the week, the Dow Jones index fell 0.1%, with the S&P 500 index down 0.6% and the Nasdaq index 0.5% lower. Back home, Fortescue Metals took the brunt of the losses last week, with the stock down 11.5% on Friday. It also fell to the lowest levels in 14 months. The BHP Group was down with their shares by 3.7%, while Rio Tinto shares were 4.7% weaker. The miners raised 36 points off the ASX 200 alone, more than half the total loss. Energy and financials also underperformed to weigh on overall market performance. Meanwhile, the IT industrial sectors rose the most. The NPL provider Afterpay is contributed most to gains with a 3.9% lift. Wealth manager AMP fell to a new low on Friday, closing below $1 a share. It's fallen 36% in 2021 and has fallen for the past 4 years straight. On Friday, 9.5 billion units were traded, worth $18.5 billion, with 630 stocks higher, 820 weaker and 420 unchanged. Moving on to today's company news, a consortium led by toll road giant Transurban will acquire the remaining 49% equity stake in WestConnex from the New South Wales government for $11.1 billion. New South Wales Treasurer Dominic Perrottet said on Monday that the state had finalised the sale to Sydney Transport Partners, with Transurban, Australian Super and the Canadian Pension Plan Investment Board, and also Abu Dhabi's Sovereign Wealth Fund. G8 Education has entered into an agreement to acquire 𝐊𝐿, a small but rapidly growing provider of in-home childcare and NDIS services, for an upfront cash consideration of $2 million. The total potential consideration available is $9.5 million and is contingent upon earnings targets being achieved over 3 years. The acquisition of 𝐊𝐿 provides G8 Education with a platform for entry into the underserved in-home childcare and specialised NDIS segments for children. And ResApp Health, a leading digital health company developing smartphone applications for the diagnosis and management of respiratory disease, has started its first day of its pilot study for the collection of cough sounds from patients with suspected COVID-19 in India. ResApp aims to use this data to develop a smartphone-based algorithm to instantly screen for COVID-19 and monitor disease progression. ResApp has engaged Triomics, a clinical trial company based in India, to complete the study. The multi-site study will recruit a total of 220 participants and is set to be completed by the end of October. Now it's time for a very short break. Stay tuned. We'll bring you all the details you need to know for the trading day.
Hi, I'm Sage, and get ready to take the crypto ride with me on 𝐊𝐿𝐼𝐴 TV. Watch the crypto buzz every Tuesday and join the excitement at 𝐊𝐼𝐴 TV. From bitcoins to NFTs to Dogecoin and DeFi, we have updates about everything around these digital currencies. Understand the investing rationale and the risks involved in the space with me, Sage, on Crypto Buzz. Keep watching 𝐊𝐼𝐴 TV.
Welcome back. You're watching the Morning Outlook Report on 𝐊𝐼𝐴 TV, live from Sydney. Over to Europe now, and European share markets closed lower on Friday, with the pan-European stock 600 index down by 1% for the week. The German DAX index lost 1%, and the UK FTSE index slid 0.9%. Shares of mining giant Anglo American tumbled 8.1% after price target downgrades from both UBS and Morgan Stanley. In London trade, shares in Rio Tinto showed 3.6% and shares in BHP lost 4.8%. Longer dated US Treasury yields rose on Friday as investors readied themselves for the US Federal Reserve meeting this week. US 10-year yields rose by 1.36% and US 2-year yields were steady near 0.226%. Over the week, US 10-year yields lifted by 2 points, with US 2-year yields up just 1 point. Global oil prices dipped on supply concerns on Friday. Interfax reported that Russia will increase its crude exports by 3% in the December quarter. The Brent crude price fell by 0.4%, and the US NYMEX crude price lost 0.9%. Over the week, Brent crude was up by 3.3%, and the US crude lifted 3.2%. That's its fourth straight weekly gain. Base metal prices were mixed on Friday. Nickel gave up early gains in the trading session as supply fears surrounded another top supplier in Indonesia announced plans to ban or tax ferronickel exports. Lead fell by 1.3% and copper lost 0.4%, but tin rose by 0.7%. For the week, lead dropped 7% and copper fell 3.9%, but tin lifted 2.1%. The gold futures price shed 0.3%. Spot gold was trading near $1,754 an ounce at the US close. Over the week, gold lost 2.3%. Iron ore fell by 5.4% to a 14-week low. For the week, iron ore slumped 21.7%. Now, that was on China's moves to reduce demand for steel. And that's all for now for the Morning Outlook Report here on 𝐊𝐼𝐴 TV. Have a great day trading and stay tuned for more market updates and economic news live throughout the day. This is Rachel signing off for now.